Before time was measured, before the world became loud, there was a remembering written in your soul. A remembering of who you are beneath the roles, the striving, the forgetting. There comes a time when the veil thins and the old ways of living no longer fit. You feel it as a pull, a quiet ache, a knowing that something ancient within you is ready to awaken. This is the path of alignment. Alignment is not effort, it is remembrance. When you align, your intuition sharpens like a flame, your energy settles into your body, your life begins to move in rhythm with the unseen. The Moon Goddess training is a sacred initiation into this remembrance. Through the Akashic records, the timeless field of soul memory, you journey beyond time and space into the ancient temples of the Nile. As you enter them, something within you unlocks. Layers dissolve, old wounds soften, your inner sight opens. You remember how to listen, how to trust, how to move through life, guided rather than forced. This is the return of the aligned woman, rooted in her body, open in her heart, clear in her knowing. She no longer searches outside herself, she remembers the way. If your soul is listening now, this is your invitation. The Moon Goddess training begins soon, and the path opens the moment you say yes. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay, and welcome to our mini readings live broadcast. I have been doing these mini reading broadcasts a little bit more frequently lately, just because I felt the call. It's so much fun, and we all learn so much by watching the mini readings. So before we dive in, I would love to say thank you for everyone that is here, that is watching live. And also I would like to ask that if you're watching this video, if you could please give the video a thumbs up. Especially if you like the content of this channel, giving the video a thumbs up and leaving a comment below helps the algorithm push this video outward, and we grow the community. And I do believe that all of the lightworker communities need to expand and grow at this time. That is very, very important. We're transitioning in a really powerful way in the collective in general. So I would really appreciate if you could do that. Other than that, just hang out and enjoy the show. I do want to make a couple of announcements before we start the mini readings. The mini readings are $25, and you can get on the list by sending the payment via the Stripe link, which is in the description of this video. So once you make the payment, I get a notification, and then I add your name to my list that I have going here. And you get your mini reading right now, today, while we're live. The other important thing is to make sure you have your question ready for when I call your name. So you have to continuously watch the broadcast once you get on the list to make sure you don't miss me calling your name. And if for some reason we don't get a response for you, I'll go to the next person. And then when we see you in the chat again, then we'll come back to you if that ends up happening. But I do want to share with you, you guys just finished watching the video about the Moon Goddess training. And I would love to just talk a little bit about that, because it is coming up. We start on February 17th. There it is right there on the screen. And it is going to be amazing. So the Moon Goddess training I call it the Priestess Path, but it's designed to guide you through the modern day version of the ancient mystery schools of ancient Atlantis. And you can even say Lemuria. The things that we learned in these ancient schools, initiatic schools, was everything to help us live in alignment with the earth, in alignment with ourselves, with our purpose. And this training is meant to guide you specifically through that. So there's 3 different levels. And the first level, we learn the fundamentals of how the Akashic records work, what they are. We go through this really powerful experience where every week we meet and we explore one of the temples along the Nile. So the temples along the Nile actually correlate with the chakras of the body, and that correlates with specific lessons that are important to learn. And in that order, they grow and they expand upon the other. And so every week you're diving into topics like the actual temples, having an Akashic journey into the temples. You are learning astrology, you're learning your gene keys, you're learning sacred geometry, you're learning hermetic alchemy, all the basic fundamental information that you need to know to be able to fully live in alignment with the earth grid, the Akashic, and yourself. We are 100% learning that. So we start by focusing on you, and the program begins to expand so that in level 2, we dive deeper into integrating the teachings and working through childhood trauma and childhood wounds that affect our relationships. So level 2 is focused a lot on our relationship to other people, understanding the mirror of relationships in life and how that plays out. All of it is meant to heal, and all of it is meant to remind you to love yourself, to ask you if you love yourself, and if you don't, to love yourself, and how to love yourself again, especially if there's been wounding in your past. And then that just naturally leads us to you learning what are your most powerful psychic and intuitive gifts. And then you learn to use those gifts to do readings for other people. It is a magical freaking experience that I highly recommend if you want the full enchilada of everything that I offer and everything that I teach. I do have a free mini training that's available now. When you go to my website, channelforgrace.com, click on Moon Goddess Training, scroll down and click on this image. You're going to enter a space where I did a mini version, and you get an experience of what it kind of feels like to be in the Moon Goddess Training. This is expansive. It is comprehensive. It's jam-packed with so much information. One of the coolest things is that we are going to start on February 17th, which is the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius, which is already a time of focusing on the future, but the eclipse brings change and revolution and regeneration. And it is an eclipse that is helping us cleanse and purify so that we can organically flow through our true desires into lightness and ultimately rapture, because it's on the 30th gene key. Okay. If you look that 30th gene key up, you'll see how powerful that frequency is. But it's also the beginning of the lunar year of the fire horse, which represents freedom, power, dynamism, passion, strength, and invites us to align our values with what we truly desire. So that energy that day, we always start on a new moon, is going to hold and plant the seed and hold that womb-like space for the activation of the Moon Goddess Training. And it's a little a micro version of the macro that we're going to experience throughout the entire year, because the training does last a whole year. That's the commitment you make. But I can promise you that at the end of the freaking whole year, you're not going to feel like the same person. So check it out. There's a lot of information here. We did a couple of broadcasts with Ashley. We did one for level 1 and one for level 2. And next week, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to do one to cover everything that you learn in level 3. Those are on the replays on the channel under the live category. But check those out because we had a blast, and you'll see what I mean when I say this program is freaking comprehensive. I want to share my favorite little comment here. One of the goddesses that graduated, she says, "You continue to blow my mind. Just keep going with your multipass. LOL, love you." That's an inside joke to the movie The Fifth Element, but it's just so fun and playful, and that's what I want to share with you all. And let's freaking go. There's a special deal. It's the super deal where you buy 2 and you get 1 whole level completely free. There you can pay in full or you can do a payment plan. And I'm going through this whole process because I know people sometimes go in and they have questions about it. So the full pay in full option, you can actually choose Affirm or Klarna as payment options. And those 2 companies, you get redirected to them, but they choose a payment plan for you. I think it is depending on your credit, but it's really cool. Like if you actually have, good credit, like you'll be able to, spread it out as long as you want to. They'll give me the full amount and then they'll just let you pay them. It's kind of like a credit card kind of a thing, but it's a cool option if you need it. And then you can also do a payment plan directly through me, which is $244 a month per month for 12 months. And that will complete for you paying for the entire program. And yeah, I am just freaking so stoked about it, you guys. Well, we're going to keep talking about it because it's starting soon. So if you're thinking about it, you have questions, just let me know. The other thing that I wanted to share is that I am hosting a workshop called Your Hero's Journey. And it's all about Neptune in Aries, Saturn in Aries, their great conjunction, the connection between the conjunction at 0 degrees and how it manifests in our own personal lives, what this means for us collectively, what this means for us individually. I'm going to show you like where you find it in your chart and how this relates to your hero's journey, because there's a reason why I called it Your Hero's Journey. And you're going to get to understand all of the things that you need to prepare for this like powerful activation that's happening during this year, which is literally one of the most powerful years astrologically that we're going to see in a really, really, really long time. So come join us for this workshop. It's $44 and there is a link below in the description, I believe, but let me just double check that it's there. And it is, yep, it's there. And it's happening on February 15th, I think. Don't quote me on that. 3 p.m. No, it's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join us for that, it'll be on Zoom. There's going to be a replay. So if you, for some reason, you can't make it to the live event, that's okay. I'll send you the replay once it is complete. So thank you for letting me share all of that. And now let's transition to do our mini readings. So I know that there's a couple of people on the list, but I just want to check real quick. So the first person on the list is Renee. So Renee, go ahead and put up your question. And then after Renee, we have Tara. Tara Clark. Okay. And just make sure you have your question ready. The list is fully open. Like we are ready to go now. And when you ask your question, I'll determine what is the best method to answer your question. So for example, I've got my tarot and oracle cards here. We can do like an intuitive message. We can also look at astrology. We can also look at human design. We can also look at gene keys. I also ask that when you ask a question that you make it a meaningful question for you, and no prediction questions, because I don't use astrology to predict like, are me and this person going to get back together? Things like that. It's just, that doesn't bring any meaning, into your life. So I want to encourage you to bring questions up that are like, you contemplating yourself, your life, your purpose. Those questions I am really good at helping you answer. So those are the parameters, but we are ready to begin. Renee is in here. I see you in the chat. from Washington State. Welcome in. How exciting. What a lovely day. Hello, welcome in. Hopefully you heard me announce it. The readings are $25 and you can get on the list by sending the payment via the link in the description, which is to my Stripe, basically. Rebecca is here. Good to see you. What can I bring to my present focus to bring back joy to my life? Okay. So I want to ask some like follow-up questions to that. Because we could do an intuitive reading for this. We could do a tarot oracle reading, and sometimes those can be even more powerful than even looking at the astrology. But are you someone who's like familiar with your astrology, your human design? Because I feel like possibly a transit reading might also be fitting, just to kind of see what is, affecting you right now personally. And if there is something like really big affecting, your joy, then we might be able to see that in the astrology. So maybe I'll let you choose. Do you want to do the cards or would you like to do astrology? I think those two are good options to answer this question. So I'll let you choose. And then if you do want the astrology, then put up your information. So date of birth, time of birth, and location, so I can actually pull up your chart on the screen. And in the meantime, I'm going to make sure that we're able to see the astrology chart once I share it, if you so decide to do astrology. I know, decisions. Hello, Anita. Welcome in. Good to see you here. Yeah, the fun thing about this broadcast is that you actually get to learn so much just from watching me do the mini readings. And the list is wide open, you guys. So I usually do mini readings until like no one else is signing up, and then I end. So if that's just 2 readings, then I'll sign off if no one signs up after that. So if you are thinking about it, just get on the list sooner rather than later, because if you wait a little too long, then I'll sign off before you got a chance to actually make the payment. So that is important. Okay. Here we go. We got some birth info here. So I am going to put it into the system real quick. And please, if you are coming into the chat and you've never been here before, the readings are not free. It's $25 that you can send to my Stripe. The link is in the description. You get on the list, and then when it's your turn, I'll call your name. All right, so we've got May 31st. Oh, that's a cool birthday. 60, 10:17 p.m. Okay. All right, here we go. So I just want to make sure I have all the correct information. Okay, I'm going to share this on the screen. And let me just kind of tune in for a second. What is it with people coming on and being Gemini Sun, Leo moons? I mean, that's amazing. That's me too. My sun is in Gemini and my moon is in Leo. That is a fun combination, not gonna lie. So that's actually cool. I think that there's a big part. You were also born with Venus, Sun, Venus. Holy moly, that is really cool. So it's like you carry this energy of like the angels are always protecting you. You have protection. You just have to know that it's there. You probably do. It could be like an ancestor that you feel that is around you. It could be like someone that you loved that passed away. It could be your spirit guides, but there's angels around you. Like it's a really beautiful thing. So I absolutely love that. You have, let's see, your Chiron is in Pisces. I'm going to pull up the transits right now. So, just to review, the question that you asked is what can I bring to my present focus to bring joy back into my life? Okay. So, this is okay. So, this is actually kind of important. One of the first things that is happening right now for you, according to your, your the transits, is that you're going through the nodal reversal. So when that happens in your chart, what you're experiencing is like life tends to feel like you have to like something needs to change, something needs to fix, like whatever is not working. Like you have to look at your life and be like, what's working, what's not working, and make some changes. So you feel like kind of like reinventing yourself. That could be a big thing that you're experiencing. Now it's on the other side of the intensity of that transit for you, because you could say more like last year was probably more intense for you in that way. Now it's going to it's slowly kind of fading, and the nodes are going to soon change signs. But also, wherever the north node is passing over your chart is where you're experiencing like the focus that you need to, put your energy into. And then where the south node is, it's where you have to sort of let go, and like there's a renewal, there's a rebirth, but it's always a death that then leads into a rebirth. So right now, the south node is transiting your 8th house. And so that's big. That's like, there's a lot of, this is the house of Scorpio. And Scorpio does represent death, change, and transformation. And when the south node is passing through there, it's like it can feel heavy, because the universe is asking you, like, if something is not working, it's asking you to let it go. And if you resist the goodbyes, you could say, then it's going to be a lot harder to get to the other side. It's always, it always feels dark before, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the light at the end of the tunnel always comes. It's just the transition can feel heavy. So that's also something that's happening for you right now. The north node is asking you to focus on like what is, your sense of like self value. It's asking you to ground yourself onto the earth. And I would say that right now would be a good time to connect with nature. That is one of the best things that you can do to help bring joy back. And you can, when you go out in nature, you can ask the earth to like take away that which does not serve you. So like cleanse you and purify you. And so you reset your energy and feel like so much clearer to make better decisions and things like that. So that is really important. There is an eclipse coming up soon, and it is happening in Aquarius. The eclipse is also going to be happening in your 2nd house, which means that Taurus is the house that rules this, is the sign that rules the 2nd house, and it can be hard to like move that. It feels very solid. That's why it's very a grounding energy. But if Aquarius is like, we're going to break things up so that something new can emerge here. So in whatever ways you are feeling like you're being stubborn right now, just in general in life, we all experience that. The Aquarius eclipse is going to come and be like, okay, we need to shift this energy. We need to change it up. So it's just a good thing. It's a positive thing, because we all need that like clearing to make space for something new. There's also a really powerful conjunction coming up, which is going to happen at 0 degrees of Aries. It is going to be happening in your 3rd house, which is the house of communication. So there's something new that you are ready to express. There's something new that you are ready to communicate, and it is your truth. We're all stepping on the hero's journey together. And for you, it's like, what's your truth and how are you going to express your truth? All of those things are going to help you find more joy right now in your life. And I want to look at just one more thing before we complete this reading. Progressions. So in your progress chart, you're currently experiencing the progressed, the gibbous moon, and it's moving towards full. So life is still building for you right now. You should keep focusing on what's ahead. What can I connect to in the future of my life that will help me, get out of a funk. It's like focus on what comes next. That's going to be major because that's where the energy is going. There's a buildup, and the buildup is going to happen April of next year. The buildup is happening now, but the culmination, the full moon, will happen April of next year. And that's when you're going to feel like you've reached in your life. The last 14 and a half years are coming to like a conclusion, a climax. And it's like, just keep climbing up that mountain is what I would say. Even if it seems challenging or difficult, keep moving forward and connect to the earth. All right. There we go. That was great. I hope that helped, answer your question. And thank you for getting a reading. So next we're going to go to Tara. So Tara, go ahead and put up your question. After Tara, we have Susan. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Renee. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can look at your gene keys. Why don't you put your information, your birth info, so I can pull up your chart, and then I'll get this set up over here on my end. I think this is the one. We can pull it up together. Actually, this is going to be fun. Okay, so it's Tara. By the way, this will teach you how to pull up your own chart. If you've never pulled up your Gene Keys chart, you go to genekeys.com. Gene is Gene, and you enter your birth information just like you would if you're pulling like an astrology chart. And it'll pop up your chart, and I'll explain like a little bit like what we're looking at when we look at the Gene Keys profile. Mm-hmm. Dude, I just had like there was a weird noise in my right ear, and now it stopped and now there's ringing. It's super weird. Okay, Bay Shore. My ears are doing weird fucking things right now. It's not coming up with that city. Is it? I know it says New York, but maybe it's... Let me reset it. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome in. Is there another town that's close to Bayshore that the system might recognize better? I'm just curious as to why it's not recognizing it. Let me do a little bit of research. I mean, honestly, it's dumb because it should be reading it, but sometimes the programs have like problems. Bayshore is a hamlet and census designated place in the town of East Sleep. In the town of East sleep. Okay, I'm gonna try is sleep. Whatever the hell. Oh my god. Stop. I think it might be the Gene Keys site because none of the cities are working. Very, very weird because it should be working. Well, sometimes the site does glitch. I've noticed it lately, which is weird. I've noticed some weird things like glitching lately. But let me put the other information in and see what happens. Okay, so we've got okay, so it's the 7th, so it's July, and the 12th is the day. The year is 75. 12:31 p.m. Yeah, I like literally should be freaking working, so I don't know why that's not. I think maybe their website's not working right now. That's okay because I have another option. Let me find your chart over here. I can, here's what we're going to do because I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I'm going to pull up your chart. I can still find out what jinkies. At least your life's work. Okay, let's see, what do I need to do here? I need to do transition to this. Okay, so this is your chart. Sun is on the 19th. Okay, so your sun is on 19. You have a 19-degree Cancer sun. So 19 degrees, 42 minutes of Cancer is 19 degrees 42. It's the 53rd gene key. So I'm just going to write this down for myself. So 53 is the life's work. 54 is the evolution. And then I'm trying to remember how would we do the other, because it is the cross. So yeah, it is. So it should be 57 and 51 should be the 57 should be the radiance, 51 should be the life's purpose. So I'm going to check on one more thing real quick. This is Jai on figuring this out when the program's not working. Okay, and 53rd Jinky, 54th. Okay, and then the other thing I want to verify is if I look at mine. Yeah, it's correct. We got it correct. Boom! That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Let's see. I mean, because mine's like the 35 and the 5 and the 64, 63. So it should be 53, 54, 57, 51. But I guess I could be wrong. But anyways, I know for sure that your life's work is the 53rd and that your evolution is the 54th. So let me go back because I'm not even looking at the comments right now. So if we hop onto the 53rd Jinky over here. So your life's work is basically the 53rd gene key, which goes from the shadow of immaturity, the gift of expansion, the city of superabundance. And then I didn't even ask you, but is there a specific question within the gene keys that you have? Let me ask that first. I wonder what happens if I go at it through a different lens. In the meantime, I'm still looking at stuff. Or if we're not able to figure like this all out, if it's like too much, then I would ask through the astrology, what question would you have through the astrology? So first of all, what gene keys question do you have if you have one? And then second, if there's an astrology question, what would be your astrology question? I'm going to try a different way to see if I can pull this up on the website, like to go through my my thing and see if it works. No, it's just not working, guys. Wow, it's a little wild. I'm sure they know about this, hopefully, but it's like the middle of the night over there. Yeah, it's not there. The Gene Keys website is not working right now. At least the one to pull up the charts. So you have your chart in front of you? Do you have your chart in front of you? Do you need me to explain like what you're looking at, or do you need me to actually like give you a little insight about like your own? Because if you just want like a tutorial on like what the gene keys are, I can do that. But I can use my chart to do that example. Okay, sorry. Yeah, thanks everyone for your patience. Okay, so that's okay. We can look at what is ahead in astrology. Okay, we can do that. So let me pull up the transits. So what we know is that the eclipse that's coming up is going to be happening in your 5th house. And that's actually cool because the 5th house is passion and creativity. So essentially the eclipse is asking you to like enter into like it's asking us all to kind of embody this like the rebel within, to let the rebel within come out. And for you, that's through your creativity. So that's actually really fun. And if you haven't felt creative in a while, this eclipse might very well bring some inspiration to help you feel really creative, just like in general in life. The conjunction is happening, meaning when I say the conjunction, I mean Neptune and Saturn is happening in the 6th house, which is the house of being. It's about being present. It's about being here in the moment. It's also your environment. So I think it's like a reset in terms of like your environment, and it's like a reset. It's asking for a reset in terms of like where to begin fresh. It's like change, redo what you do on a regular basis, like redo your daily life, redo your daily schedule, redo things so that so we get really accustomed to like the certain things living in a certain way. And it can, after a while, it can get kind of monotonous, and sometimes it needs a shift in the energy so that we can remember what it's like to be more present. So and that's essentially that's the big shift for you. And that conjunction is coming up a few days after the eclipse. So 5th and 6th house, really like powerful things happening in that area of your life. And if we look at your progressions, which I don't know that I don't know that we've ever looked at them, but you are right now moving into the balsamic phase in your progress chart, which means that the next few years for you, and you're already probably feeling this, but it'll intensify. The universe is asking you to let go because there is a new cycle that it will begin, and it's going to be a few years, like, because your progress moon right now is in Cancer. That's also a time that's very emotional, and you're probably thinking a lot about what's the most important thing to me in regards to my home and my family. What is home to me? You know, home is where the heart is. It might be an emotional time, but you may feel like those questions are just right there. They're like, you know, in your auric field. Then the moon will enter into Leo, and then it'll have to go through Leo, and it's 2.5 years, right? So every time it changes signs, it's 2.5 years in that sign. So you're looking at a good, like, I mean, we can literally go forward in time, and I can show you exactly when the next new moon happens, and you'll get a good picture of how long these cycles are. But what they can do is they can bring us a lot of clarity. So we're talking 2030 is when that new moon is going to be happening. So between now and then, life is going to feel like whatever isn't working, it's time to say goodbye. Whatever is not serving you, it's time to let it go. So what happens during the balsamic phase is that there's a lot of endings in many, many different ways, like relationship endings, or sometimes there's like big moves that happen. And then, yeah, all of it is geared towards the key is don't resist. If something is like wanting to like leave your life, don't resist, because the resistance will make it worse. It's better to just like you're cleaning up. It's kind of like you're cleaning up the space to make sure that it's clean and clear and purified for the new cycle that's going to begin. Because these cycles we're talking about are 28.5 year cycles, and there's a new 28.5 year cycles. It literally feels like a whole new life. It's like starting from the beginning. There's a whole new theme. It's a whole new story, and you're moving towards that, and you're closer to the beginning, much closer to the beginning of the new story. So letting yourself flow through the endings till you get to that new beginning is the key in general, like in your life. So you've got a few years, right? At least you know what is the background frequency of what's happening in your life. Okay. Thank you, Tara. So let's go to Susan, and I'm going to check the list to see if anyone else is on the list. So apparently Jinky's site is down, so we can't do Jinky's readings, but we can definitely look at other stuff. So there's no one else after Susan, and if no one else gets on the list and that's it, then we'll finish tonight. But if you do want to get on the list, I suggest you do it now. Okay, here we go. Looking up the chat. You're welcome, Tara. Moving in 2 weeks, I could feel it. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about you for sure. Okay. Oh yeah, so Anita is Susan. I would love to hear anything you would like to say about my astrology birth chart. I enjoyed Tara's reading about looking ahead. Okay. So let me put your chart in here. And we can look at your progressions too. Yeah. It's fun to know where you're at, like in the whole process. So we've got March 20th, 72, 5, 38. Okay. Just to make sure I've got everything correct. Hello, welcome in. Okay. Let me share this. And now we've got your chart on the screen. let's take a look at what we have. We'll just start by looking at your holy shit. Does anyone else see what I see? Oh, God damn, Gina, you have your sun at 0 degrees of Aries, exactly opposed Pluto at 0 degrees of freaking Libra. Does that sound right? Oh my God. Sorry. The reason this is nuts is because the freaking conjunction with Neptune and Saturn is happening at 0 freaking Aries. So this is like a freaking rebirth. I'm going to show you. Right there. I know, right, Rebecca? This is crazy. This is a rebirth. Like, you're about to go through a freaking rebirth. You also have North Node Aquarius. Wow. Okay, so there is like this is huge. I know, this is huge. And freaking Pluto is on your North Node. You're going to have, Saturn opposed Pluto and Neptune opposed Pluto. That's gnarly. That's a little intense. You're probably feeling that heaviness. But it is a rebirth overall. A major manifestation energy. Yes. Wow. Sorry, this is like so freaking cool. So essentially, there's like an awakening. And it's almost like a rebirth that's happening for you. And it's happening on your sun, which represents the soul. And this means that like you are going through like a reset in your life, a rebirth that will activate for you like a new, like you might feel like a whole new person on the other side of this. And the conjunction is happening February 20th. The eclipse is happening February 17th. That eclipse is happening in your 6th house, which is going to bring you to revolutionize your daily life, your daily routines. And then the conjunction in the 7th house is it's a reset in relationships too, but it's a new beginning in relationships. And I think it's you learning yourself, like first and foremost, you become the most important thing. Wow, that is just freaking wild. Let's look at your progressions real quick. Oh my God. So in your progress chart, you just had a new moon happen. And the new moon happened at 22 degrees of Taurus. And it happened right around June of last year. So leading up to June of last year, you experienced the balsamic phase, which what I was talking about, Tara's chart, the balsamic phase is the time in your life where you feel like everything's leaving. Like a lot of goodbyes, a lot of big changes, big moves, things like that. It's like, it's just time to say goodbye to the past and get ready for the future, for a new life. And that new life and that new story started June of 2025. And it happened at 22 degrees of Taurus, which is, if you think about what Taurus is, the moon in Taurus is exalted. So it feels really good in that sign. So that is a positive thing. It was also on your Mars. It was conjunct your natal Mars, which brings in drive, motivation. Venus in Taurus is right there too for you. So she kind of part of this little like stellium energy that was like activating the energy of Taurus, which is about stability, security, growing things and taking your time. 22 degrees is also a sacred number. Truly felt those changes. And so now you're in that new story. Like there, and 22 degrees of Taurus. Let's see what this is in the gene keys. 22 Taurus is the 23rd gene key. So the new story that you are now working through. I mean, the 23rd one is an interesting one. It goes from shadow of complexity to gift of simplicity to city of quintessence. It's part of the codon ring of life and death, which talks about the complex genetic codon group governing the many processes that bring human beings in and out of form, wheeling in the cosmic forces of creation and destruction. This ring is based upon change and the continual mutation of life. In fact, in all cycles of physical cellular mutation, life is programmed to follow the archetypal processes represented by these six gene keys. Its secrets are revealed in the simple wisdom of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path left by the Buddha. All life is change and is thus subject to cessation, and all truth lies in the awareness of the present moment. Another message contained within the Ring of Life and Death is that the chaos of play is to be deeply trusted and revered. Play is the expression of genius, and genius always finds a new solution to the challenges it meets along the way. That is the new cycle for you. It's playful. It's like inviting you to a different life, you know? I love that. And it was a new moon that happened in the 9th house, which is the house of Sagittarius. And it's also the house of expansion. It's Jupiterian, so it's about expanding, going beyond your edge. It's very much fire horse energy, for sure. Learning new things, maybe a whole new cycle of like just new education that comes into your life. And I don't mean like formal education, although it could be, but it's just learning something new, like life wisdom. And then now your moon is in Gemini. So it's been in Gemini for since December. So for like a couple months now. And so now you're focusing more on like communication and expressing yourself and finding your truth. And this is a crescent moon now. So life now is about watering the seeds that were planted when the new moon happened last year, and making sure that you're like taking care of like the baby plant, right? Because it's going to have to grow and become strong. So you might feel like new things emerging in life. And with that freaking conjunction on Neptune, like this is epic. I'm actually really excited for you. It's really amazing. If it was me, I'd be like, wow, like hell yeah, the universe just aligned to bring you a powerful, like new life right around this time. So there you go. Wow, that was amazing. I'm glad that you brought your question. Okay, thank you, Anita. And let me check if I don't think anyone else has got on the list, so we may be done for the night, and that's all good. I am so excited because I'm almost done with my book, Seasons and Stargates, for 2026, 2027. So the calendar year for the astrology begins March 21st or 20th, 2021, at the beginning of the spring. And it goes through all the way through, basically through Pisces season. So Aries to Pisces. So it would be March, March 20th to March 20th, right? Yeah, you're welcome. But I'm very excited because I've been working on the book. Right now I'm in, I'm going to finish up Aquarius season tonight, Pisces season tomorrow. And then I have this really cool, and it's getting an upgrade. Like every year the book has gotten an upgrade. This year we're upgrading like the journal section of the book. Every season has a journal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, my book literally takes you through the astrological year, tells you what the season represents, gives you all of the important transits of that season, gives you an analysis of the astrology, gives you an analysis of the new and the full moons, new and full moon rituals, essential oils that I recommend working with during that season and why I recommend those essential oils. It also has crystal magic, so a specific crystal that you should work with during the month to embody and move through the energy to support you during the energy that the astrology brings. Also, we have a a self-care, like self-love ritual for every month. There's also a tarot spread that I recommend that you do for each month when the sun enters a new sign. And then there is a journal section in the end of each season that helps you to contemplate and reflect on like the important things that season will bring up. And I'm just really excited about it. So I can't wait. I'm going to start, talking about that also soon, as soon as it's done, and basically like preparing to launch the book. I'm so happy that this year I'm going to have it done on time, because last year I was late. I mean, it was only like a month late, but it's still, it's like, it's better to have it right there when the year starts, and this year is going to be freaking amazing. So, all right. I think that completes our readings for tonight. Thank you guys all so much for being here, for hanging out. And Anita says, I'm looking forward to getting the book. I love it. And I'll see you guys. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys on Monday for the weekly broadcast. And remember, this is eclipse season, so there is a lot going on. Just stay as grounded as you possibly can. I've been feeling pretty good lately, so that's good. Hopefully you feel good as well. Tara says, I love your book. It's basically my journal. I know some people like use it like religiously. It's amazing. And this next one's going to be even better. And yeah, check out all the fun things that are coming up. Join us for the workshop on the 15th, the Your Hero's Journey workshop. Join us for the Moon Goddess training. Everything that's happening right now is like coded or encoded with powerful frequency to reset your life. So let's freaking go. I will see you guys next week. Sat Nam, and have a beautiful weekend. Before time was measured, before the world became loud, there was a remembering written in your soul. A remembering of who you are beneath the roles, the striving, the forgetting. There comes a time when the veil thins and the old ways of living no longer fit. You feel it as a pull, a quiet ache, a knowing that something ancient within you is ready to awaken. This is the path of alignment. Alignment is not effort, it is remembrance. When you align, your intuition sharpens like a flame, your energy settles into your body, your life begins to move in rhythm with the unseen. The Moon Goddess training is a sacred initiation into this remembrance. Through the Akashic records, the timeless field of soul memory, you journey beyond time and space into the ancient temples of the Nile. As you enter them, something within you unlocks. Layers dissolve, old wounds soften, your inner sight opens. You remember how to listen, how to trust, how to move through life, guided rather than forced. This is the return of the aligned woman, rooted in her body, open in her heart, clear in her knowing. She no longer searches outside herself, she remembers the way. If your soul is listening now, this is your invitation. The Moon Goddess training begins soon, and the path opens the moment you say yes.